People have the mistaken belief that if they consciously repeat something that they want, they'll go ahead and manifest it. I decided at the age of 60 that I was going to go into music. And the very first thing that happened was all the negative beliefs. I'm too old. I can't sing. I can't dance. I can't write songs. I don't have a band. I can't go in the studio. And then the big one, Joe, what if being a musician ruins your life?
This is not the episode for skeptics, because today's episode truly talks about that. Dr. Joe Vitale isn't just a best-selling author. He's a musician, composer, he's a singer, and he's somebody who stayed behind the movie The Secret. The movie moved millions of people. A man who went from homeless and hopeless to the best-selling author with over 90 books, a global teacher of spiritual wealth, healing, and law of attraction. But what hit me the most isn't law of attraction, it was his surrender. At one point of conversation, when I asked him, do we become who we believe we are, or we become who we think we are? He said, both. After he explained, he cracked something in me. I felt it, like someone holding up a mirror to reflect all inside me, all the places I tried to skip, the wounds, the doubt, the limiting belief dressed up as a logic. Because the truth is, no amount of strategy or force can replace alignment. And once you realize that, everything changes. So if you're ready to stop chasing and start attracting, this episode might be for you. My name is Graz, this is NGrS Show, and today with me, Dr. Joe Vitale. How did looked life of Joe Vitale before all of us know what you're doing and how good you are at that?
It depends on how far back you want to go. As a child, I was a big dreamer, but I was also shy, insecure, immature. I was very awkward around anybody outside of the immediate family, and I was cautious with them. But I was a big dreamer. I wanted to be a famous magician at one point. I even had my stage name, Harry Excello. I was going to be Harry Excello and be as famous as Harry Houdini. And I thought about being a boxer, a prize fighter, a heavyweight boxing champion. And one of my idols was Jack Dempsey at that point when he was still alive. And of course, I wanted to be an author. I wanted to be a writer. And that was a big pursuit. And when I realized that I loved books so much that I would probably fit in pretty good in the world of writing and being an author, that's what I began to pursue. But I struggled. I struggled. As a kid, I struggled with, even with the big dreams and trying to follow them. And when I was an adult, I went through homelessness. I went through poverty. I had 10 years of pure struggle before the first book was published in 1984. And nobody knew it. It came and went and disappeared overnight. But that was a turning point because I learned about marketing, and I started to learn about marketing right then. So it's been a long journey, but I would say what people don't know is that I dreamed big and struggled hard and long before I got any sort of notch of success.
Was there anyone to support you in your dreams as a child and teenager?
Thank you. That's a great question. No. But the good news was I was supported by all the books I was reading. I was reading the self-help success literature that had gone before me. Napoleon Hill and Dale Carnegie and Claude Bristol with his famous book, The Magic of Believing. These books were what encouraged me. These books are what said you can do it and showed me how to do it. And I befriended books. I couldn't afford them. I was going to the public library and walking there and devouring books and memorizing books and studying books and taking books home, and they became my friends. And books are still my best friends today. And whenever I want to do something, I jump into books first to learn how to do it. So no, there was not anybody urging me to do anything because nobody believed I would do anything. There wasn't anybody to do it. So, but books did. Those dead authors, they helped me.
I can see that all around your social media, especially Facebook. There are so many posts about different books and short
That's right.
descriptions and your takeaways. This is really beautiful to see. Um, Joe, is this the pain which shaped you to become who you are today? Or was there something else? What was the triggering point where you was without any self-doubt anymore in yourself?
I would say the pain of being insecure but wanting to be popular and well known drove me to be an author. And
Mhm.
I think it drove me to be an author because I can express myself without confronting anybody. In
Yeah.
other words, they would pick up my books and they would read the books, but they're not talking to me directly and I'm not looking at them directly. So it was an avenue of expression that probably came from pain. I didn't know it at the time, and I may not have known it until fairly recently. But I would say the pain is what pushed me in the direction of expressing myself through the written word. At the same time that I say that, I also believe that I was put on the planet to inspire people. I think that's my mission is to inspire people. But in the early days of being an insecure kid, I couldn't inspire people on stage. I couldn't inspire people with any sort of public display of inspiration. I had to do it through books. As I've worked on myself and gotten better and more comfortable, obviously I'm in movies, I'm a musician, I'm on stages around the world, I've been on major TV shows. I can do all of that now. But in the beginning, just tried to be an author because I thought that's what the pain led me to express my inspiration through.
Was there many break moments in the your journey where you said to yourself, like, okay, that's a turning moment where I should turn backwards and stop dreaming?
Interesting question. I thought you were going to say it differently. I thought you were going to say, were there turning point moments that pushed me forward? But you asked, were there turning point moments where I could have stopped or I could have given up?
That's
And
right.
the truth is, there were probably hundreds of them, especially during homelessness and especially during 10 years of poverty. I don't know that I can name any particular one, but I can tell you back then in the 1970s and in the 1980s, remember, there's no internet. And when you're trying to
Yeah.
be an author, you have to use the US mail and put your manuscript in a manila envelope and address it to a publisher and put a return envelope inside that envelope with the postage on it if you wanted your material back. And I would get rejections all the time for years, and they would devastate me. I mean, traumatize me. I looked at a rejection of an article as a rejection of me. And so I took it personally, and those were crippling. It sometimes took weeks, if not months, to kind of build up my own belief in myself to keep going forward. So to answer your question, there were probably lots of them. I don't remember anything specific outside of what I just said about rejections being personal and hurting.
Was there any belief you had to unlearn in this process of being rejected?
Well, the big one was a rejection of an article was not a rejection of me. That
Wow,
was a
that's
big one.
powerful.
That is a very big one. It's probably true for anybody that's creative because we put so much into whether it's sculpture or a painting or a piece of writing or a piece of software. Whatever it is that we're creating, we're involved in it. It's coming through us and we're putting our blood, sweat, tears, belief, our energy into it. So it's very easy to think that an opinion of it is an opinion of you. And we have to separate that. I, at this point, have written over 90 books, and some of them have been incredible bestsellers and inspire the world. And some of them have been absolute duds, and nobody even knows what they were because they're gone. But that doesn't mean I'm a dud. It doesn't mean I'm
Absolutely.
a failure. And that is the big takeaway for everybody watching or listening is like separate what you're doing from your own sense of self-worth. That was a
Yeah.
big one for me.
Very powerful. Definitely not easy though, because I know in my business as well, it's very hard sometimes to get detached. I'm mostly doing sales, and they always say, get detached from the sale. It's very hard to master that art of being detached.
Mhm.
Joe, I did this podcast with probably more than 10 people who were very closely working with Bob Proctor, and I know that both of you were very much into the movie The Secret, book The Secret as well, thanks to Rhonda Byrne. I want to ask you, do you think that people attract what they are or who they believe they are?
Well, it's both. It's really the same thing said in a different way.
Yeah.
What they are and what they believe they are is actually one and the same. They might speak of it differently, but the world is responding on an energy level to what you are believing unconsciously for the most part. You can consciously say you believe something, but if your subconscious slash unconscious believes otherwise, it will create its
Mm.
reality because the subconscious unconscious is more powerful than the conscious mind. So when we talk about who we are, it's really a matter of who we are on the unconscious level. Who do we think we are? Who do we believe we are? That's all the same thing. But what's important is to realize what is in the subconscious. That's the database that is driving your life experience. You can sit there and say, I am wealthy or I am a wealthy person and do it all day long. That's consciously. But in the subconscious, if you think money's bad, money's evil, you're bad, you're evil, you'll misuse money, money will get misused by other people if you have it. There's a long line of what I call counter intentions. If that belief is there, you're not going to become wealthy or you're not going to hold on to the wealth. You've got to clean up and align your beliefs in order to have whatever it is that you say you want.
I love what you're saying because this is opening my next question, and I fully agree with you. We are on the same level when it comes to believe who you are and how you actually operates. My next question is, do you think that this is the biggest misconception about manifestation, or there are some other misconceptions about manifestation?
Well, there's several misconceptions about manifestation. The very first one is the one we're talking about here. People have the mistaken belief that if they consciously repeat something that they want, they'll go ahead and manifest it. And as I've discovered, and we're pointing out here in this dialogue, is you can repeat it and manifest it as long as you don't have counter intentions in your subconscious mind that would stop it. And this is true in any category. If somebody is saying, oh, I'm ready for the love of my life, I am now attracting my soulmate. They can repeat it all day long. They can make a vision board. They can picture it. They can visualize it. They can feel it real. They can do all of this great stuff. But if in their subconscious mind, they don't think they're lovable, or they don't think they're enough, or they think all the good ones are taken, any of those or similar limiting beliefs will stop the manifestation. The insight is that we manifest our reality based on our subconscious beliefs, not our conscious thinking. That's one of the big misconceptions. Another one, and this is one I really stomp my feet about, and that's the idea that you don't have to do anything. A lot of people watch the movie The Secret. They read a lot of the success literature and feel good literature it's out there. And they think, well, I just have to affirm it and the universe will bring it to me. Well, I have discovered that the universe will bring it to you if you meet it part way. Life
Absolutely.
is a co-creation. The word, I think it was Jack Canfield who pointed out that the word attraction has the word action in it. Well, that's a hint. You
Mm.
have to take action. I mentioned I've written over 90 books. If you go back in time to the 1970s when I'm visualizing being an author, had I never gone to a typewriter, and I had a $5 portable clunky typewriter, but if I had never gone to the typewriter and begun to actually take action by writing, you wouldn't know me as an author today. You
Absolutely.
can't just visualize it. You can't just affirm it. You actually have to take the steps to co-create whatever it is you want. And I have countless stories of doing this, not just 90 books, but I'm a musician. I got 15 albums. I've been in 30 movies. My own movie is releasing now. And it's already won, let's see, it's been nominated for 27 awards. It's won, I think, 11 awards. And the premiere for it is already sold out. None of that happens by just visualizing. You have to take action. So another big misconception is that you don't have to do anything. That's BS.
Absolutely, because people most of the time think that life is happening to them and they're just waiting here for the scenes to keep showing. And that's actually,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
that's actually biggest BS. Joe, you mentioned your movie, and I was keeping this for a little bit later, but now it's a perfect chance. As I know, you wrote a book, which later on turned into the movie. I'm seeing
Yeah.
advertisements all around the network, all around social medias. I'm seeing all these awards. Let's break down one key point. What does it mean, zero limit?
Well, that's a big question. Zero Limits, the book, came out around 2006, about the same time the movie The Secret came out. And my book, Zero Limits, is the remarkable, even miraculous true story of a therapist who helped heal an entire ward of mentally ill criminals. But he helped heal them not with traditional therapy or drugs or any mojo. He used some Hawaiian technique that nobody knew about at the time. I met the therapist, co-authored the book with the therapist, learned the technique, did 3 seminars with the therapist, wrote
Well,
3 more follow-up books about this method. It's called Ho'oponopono. And Ho'oponopono is an inside-out approach to creating change in your life. And it's based on 4 simple phrases. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I saw the power of it in the workshops I did with the therapist. And I saw how people were using it after the first book, Zero Limits, came out. But I was also frustrated that not enough people read books. The Secret proved that. The law of attraction has been around forever.
yes.
And it was in a lot of books in the 1800s and early 1900s, but not enough people read books. So when The Secret came out and I realized, oh, they're all going to the movies. They're not reading books. They're sitting in their chairs watching television. And I thought, I need a movie. If I want to reach the masses and inspire them, I need a movie. And it took a long time to manifest it. But Zero Limits, the movie, is based on Ho'oponopono and the use of it. And I think I have 20 guest stars in the movie, including John Asseroff is one of the guest stars in the movie. We all talk about whether we have any limits or not. And most of the time we're finding out we don't have any except what we believe, what we're mentally thinking. And Ho'oponopono is a way to question limits so we can move into this experience of having a life of zero limits, where anything is possible.
I love it. I want to ask you, in your opinion, do you believe that everyone needs means to be wealthy and successful? Or you believe that there is some balance in the world and somehow nature or God rule the world so that some people might be wealthy, some people might not, but there must be some equilibrium where those wealthy help those ones who are in need? Or what are your thoughts on this and how do you believe about
Well,
that?
what an interesting question. On one level, it's very stimulating to think about and attempt to answer. But on another level, we go a little deeper and peel back your question. Underneath it is a belief about scarcity. Your
Absolutely.
question is coming from a belief about scarcity.
That's right.
There is the belief, and a lot of people have this belief, is I can't have more money because it'll take from somebody else. That's not true. That is not a fact. That is a belief, and it is a limiting belief. It does not serve us. My personal understanding is that we live in this optical illusion of a universe. You can have whatever you want as long as you believe it's possible on the subconscious level. And this is where the movie Zero Limits and the book Zero Limits and a lot of my work comes in. Because whenever somebody says, oh, I can't do that, that's your wake up call to realize you just spoke a limiting belief. If you had zero limits, would you question it? And would you attempt to do something about it? So I invite people to begin listening to themselves when they speak and when they think. And whenever they say something like, I can't, or it's not possible, or is the world set up in such and such a way, it's an invitation to explore whether we're coming from a limiting belief or not. And almost always we are. I
Awesome.
invented miracles coaching 20 some years ago because I discovered the fastest way to find out what our limiting beliefs are is to work with somebody who's not thinking the same way we are. You know,
That's
as long
interesting.
as we are, yeah, as long as we are thinking ourselves, we are in a loop. We think the same thoughts. Current science says we have about 50 to 100,000 thoughts a day. They're pretty much all negative. They're pretty much all critical, and they're pretty much all the same thoughts. You need to have something come in from the outside to interrupt that thinking and to get you to question it, to get off the train of limitation. This is why I created Miracles Coaching. So your question is so wonderful, and you can have arguments trying to answer it. You know, does God have it set up this way? Is this the way the universe works? And it's like, you know what? The universe is working the way you subconsciously believe it works. It's an
Yeah,
optical illusion. You change your beliefs and you get a whole different universe. It rearranges itself.
I love it. I love the way how you paraphrase it and disrupt that kind of pattern belief. And this is actually the whole point here and why I wanted to do this episode because it's different than majority of people would speak about and how majority of people would take it. Because most of us take towards this like, okay, it happened, so what? And
Right.
we never question us deeper. So can someone live with purpose if they're stuck in survival mode? And how you define that?
Of course, they can leave with purpose once they leave survival mode. We are hardwired for survival. This is explaining why, what do we have? 8 billion people on the planet are pretty much unhappy. And throughout history, we've pretty much fought with each other. And now, in present reality, as you and I are speaking, there are wars, there are arguments, there are attacks, there are assassinations.
Yeah.
There's a world of incredible chaos going on because we're hardwired for survival. And when anything shows up that feels like it's a threat, we fall into fear, we fall into automatic behavior, and we fall into trying to survive. Now, nature set it up that way so that we can survive. But nature also set it up so you can transcend. And
Oh yeah.
what I and my work is all about is to help people to awaken. You awaken to the reality that a part of your brain is on red alert most of the time because it's afraid. It's trying to keep you alive. Thank goodness it's doing that. And everybody that's watching, listening to us, it's working fine because they're alive. They're participating in this moment with us. It's alive. But we also want to go beyond it. You can actually get to the point where you awaken the divinity within you, and the divinity within you will take better care of you and will make you happier and healthier if you align yourself with it. Now, this is the next step in evolution, and a lot of people are saying this is the moment in time where this needs to happen. I don't know if that's true or not, but I do know it's not going to hurt us to awaken. It's going to benefit us. So we can move from thriving and we can move into following our life purpose. I personally believe that everybody here has a purpose. Doesn't have to be gigantic, like you're going to, end world hunger or cure cancer. If that's your purpose, please go and do it. It could be that you're the best mom or you run the best bakery, or in my case, it was like, I'm here to inspire people. Originally, I thought it was just through books, but as I worked on myself and collapsed my limiting beliefs and sense of self-worth and all of that, I started to do music. I have 15 albums. I started speaking around the world. I've been in countries I didn't even know existed when I was growing up. I started creating products. I have hundreds of products online. I've been doing this since 1984 and been online since 1992, I think. And of course, movies. I think I'm in 30 movies besides The Secret, and of course, my own movie, Zero Limits. So you have a mission. Everybody here has a mission that was divinely assigned to you. You have free will. You could say no. You could say, I don't want to do that. And a lot of people do. And now they're just back into survival. They're just back into making a living, getting fed, doing whatever gets them through the day. But you can also listen to the voice of God, if you will, inside of you, the voice of spirit, the voice of divinity, whatever you want to call it, and allow it to lead you to follow your passion, and you're surviving naturally and organically as you do so.
I love it. I love the way how you frame that answer because you lead me to ask you the next question. Here is, you said that you discover one purpose of yours to inspire people, and then you realize, okay, my vehicle, which in that time were books, is not only books. I can do it through many different vehicles. In the way of your journey, you was probably changing yourself and outgrowing. Let's say like layer by layer, discovering the new outgrowths of your identity. My question to you is, when did you last time discover the outgrow level, and what is it? What is your now the newest, the freshest identity?
I love the question. You're good at this,
Thank you.
Nick. These are very thought-provoking. When I turned 71 years old, the end of last year, I signed up for mixed martial arts training. Mixed martial arts.
Wow, love it.
And I am going on a regular basis. I have my third belt. I'm wearing my third belt right now. And I have announced to the world that I will have a black belt by age 75. I'm giving myself 4 years to do it, which is a little tight, especially for somebody like me. And it's important to realize I'm twice as old as my own instructor. I'm at least twice as old as the oldest person in any of my classes. Everybody in the class has more experience, obviously has youth. Many of them are in far better shape than I am. And yet at age 71, I went to an MMA class, mixed martial arts, and I know it is mentally and physically challenging. That's also what was next for me to do. And so I took a deep breath, I signed, and I committed. I paid for the year of classes. Then I met the guy who invented this brand of mixed martial arts. He was a fan of mine through the movie The Secret and everything, so we hit it off. And I've had some personal tutoring and coaching. And he was the one who said, if you stay with this, you can have a black belt in 4 years. Right then and there, it became my next goal. So here I am, mixed martial arts Joe.
Hey, you. This isn't for you if you want to get just better at sales. This is for people who want to truly dominate it. Either it's DMs, calls, webinars, keynote speaking presentations, or any other form, Instagram or Facebook stories as well. The game has changed. AI, it's just around the corner. So if you're relying on old sales scripts, old sales pitches, or if you're relying to learn sales from the old books written even 2 or 3 years ago, to not even speak about 10 or 20 or 30 years ago bestsellers, you're losing the game. Your sales will not perform on the best way. See, this is why I created this community. To give you unfair sales advantage in every format, every tool, for every buyer. Cold DMs, sales calls, sales pitches, understanding the sales pitches, breaking down sales objection, and everything else what you need to understand when it comes to different tonalities and sales psychology so that you understand how to better perform your sales. This isn't another Slack, WhatsApp, or Telegram group. This is a community of people who want to become not just better at sales, sales dominators. It's free, and you can join it just by clicking the link below in the description of this video. I love it. And you're saying something what actually a long time ago I learned from Bob Proctor, and this is that he also lived what he thought, and you do that. You give to yourself zero limits. Yeah, 71. So what? I can do it. So, but those people are younger, double than you. So what? I still can do it. So my question to you is, what's belief you hold today, which your younger yourself, young Joe, would say, oh my God, is this really you now? What is the biggest dramatical change in belief you hold today, which you couldn't imagine yourself as a young person holding it?
It's a wonderful question. There's a couple things I want to say here. The very first is probably the younger self would be astounded that I speak so much in front of people. That the largest group I spoke to live was in Lima, Peru, and it was 20,000 people live.
Wow.
And I had a police escort, I had a translator, I had an entourage, I forget, I had a bodyguard, and Bob Proctor was the other speaker. It was just me and him there. And I think my younger self would just faint thinking, you did what? And when Larry King had his famous talk show, the Larry King live talk show, I was on it twice. And that would have been jaw-dropping, unbelievable to the younger Joe. I mentioned I'm a musician. I have performed on stage with my band of legends, me being the lead singer and guitar player. My younger self would pass out just trying to imagine it. It's like, you did what? And even now at 71 going into MMA, the younger self would go, this isn't the Joe I know. This isn't the Joe I know. Now, I wanted to answer your question with that, but there's something else that I want to say that was triggered in part by your question. And that is, I want people to realize that I'm not doing this fearless. There are times when I am terrified by what I am proposing to do. And this is important for people to realize because I've said, whenever you go to do something you've never done before, you're going to be scared. You'll be excited, but you're going to be nervous because you've never done it before. I want people to know that I just said that I was on stage leading my band of legends. I was the lead singer and everything, performing live in Austin, Texas. And I was, if not traumatized, at least petrified of doing it for a good month before it. In fact, I was so scared of being the lead singer in my own band. Remember, I had never done it before. And to be a lead singer to front a group in front of a live audience is a big deal if you've never done it before. And I was like 60 at the time, had no experience doing it. Yes, I had been on stage as a speaker, but not as a singer. Those are completely different experiences. And I was so scared that I was fishing for ways to cancel the engagement because I didn't want to do it. That part of me was so afraid. But I also know this is what I teach. You have to face your fears. You can find your courage. And I had learned to ask questions like, yeah, you might be afraid, but is there any real threat? This goes back to survival. Talking to my brain saying, is there any real threat? Are you going to die on stage? Is anybody got to kill you on stage? Is there some sort of threat of permanent damage by you being on stage? And when I realized I was actually safe to be on stage, I calmed down enough to do it. So I'm saying all this because people may look at me and go, oh, it's easy for Dr. Joe. He's in his 70s. He's done this. He's done that. He's done this. He's done that. No, whenever you do something new, I'm going to my MMA training and there's some days I go, oh God, if I'm not actually dreading it, I'm a little bit fearsome of it. I don't want to be hurt. I don't want to be embarrassed. And yet I know I'm okay. I can do it. And one day at a time, it's all fine. That's become my new rhythm. One day at a time, it's all fine.
Love it. It's kind of compound effect which you're building. But I would like to ask you a question related to that right now is that your life is full of challenges. You give them to yourself. Every new challenge a little bit scare you. You think about that and then you succeed. And we are all witnessing on that, on your social media, on your posts, everything what you're sharing. Do you ever feel a fear of you saying, well, this is going downhill because the previous work I did was perfect. Maybe I should stay just there. Maybe I shouldn't make that step only due to fact that this one would not be even close good like previous one.
That's another great question. And I'm going to go back to music.
Thank you.
When I decided to be a musician, I was around 60 years old, and it was on my bucket list. I looked around and thought, well, I've done quite a bit. What haven't I done? And I was always interested in music. I played a little guitar. I collected guitars and played some harmonica, but I didn't know what I was doing. And I decided at the age of 60 that I was going to go into music. And the very first thing that happened was all the negative beliefs about that. I'm too old. I can't sing. I can't dance. I can't write songs. I don't have a band. I can't go in the studio. All of that was coming up. And then the big one, Joe, what if being a musician ruins your life and your reputation? You've been a success as an author. It's a long struggle. People know you as an author. They buy your books. Because of my books, I was in the movie The Secret. Because of being in the movie The Secret, I was on Larry King, went around the world. Wonderful things were happening by being an author. Now I want to be a musician. This could be the turning point that throws me into oblivion. It could be the biggest mistake of my life. Believe me, I was going through all of that in my head. And then I had to come to terms with when I'm on my deathbed and I review my life, am I going to regret doing it or regret not doing it?
Hmm.
And I thought, I would regret not trying.
Exactly.
I would regret not trying. So, right or wrong, however the chips would fall, I decided I'm going to be a musician. And I went out and did it. Now, the punchline is I'm nowhere near accepted as a musician as I am as an author. I made 15 albums. I got nominated for a couple of awards. Some of the songs were in movies. In fact, there's a little bit of one of my musical tracks in my movie, Zero Limits. So, it's done okay. But in terms of being a success as a musician, no. In terms of having the same ranking as me as an author, no. But I don't regret it at all. And in fact, I still have guitars around me. You can't see them here. And I have another one coming because I so love music. I'm still tinkering. I'm still playing a little bit with songs. And in fact, I got to say this. You probably saw this if you follow me on Instagram. I've been to Iran, and the people of Iran are fantastic. They write me all the time. And because they're under attack and they're another one having a war right now, they reached out to me. And I'm like, what do I do? I'm in California. I don't even know what's going on over there anymore. But I had recorded a song for Iran a few years ago about instead of fearing the darkness, light a candle. It's an old Neil Young song called Light a Candle. And I recorded it, I sang it, played a little guitar, and posted it for them. 500,000 people liked it within hours. And it's been shared and talked about unbelievably. It's become one of my most popular recent posts. And anybody following me on Instagram, I'm Dr. Joe Vitale there, Dr. Joe Vitale, as you probably know. We'll see that little clip in other ones. So has music been a mistake? No. I've had fun. I broke through another personal best. I got rid of some limiting beliefs about what's possible and moved into zero limits living. And I've been able to make some music that has helped people, including the country of Iran. All of this is the answer to your question.
That's very beautiful. And I have prepared a couple of more questions which I really want to go through.
Sure.
One of them is, I think that I did with more than 10 very close people to Bob Proctor, his family members and his co-workers, partners, interviews. And what I realized is all of them speak with so warm heart and beautiful emotions, even though that he passed away a few years ago. And I said, that's a true legacy. And this probably will last for decades and for century maybe, the way how people see him, the way how people speak about him. When people say Joe Vitale, first thing is the law of attraction. But if everything you build, let's just imagine for a second, disappear tomorrow, what would still matter to you? What would you like to people still say about Joe Vitale?
I would hope that they would say something to the effect of, he inspired us. He inspired us. If those three words, he inspired us, are what are left behind, and it stirs people to do something, follow their dream, express their passion, make a difference, feel happier, healthier, pursue whatever their goals and outcomes and intentions are, I will have done well. I would have done well.
I love it. Can you tell me what's something, or is there something you never shared before publicly, but you feel that maybe today it's the right moment to share?
That's a great question too. There's probably a lot of things that will occur to me later, but I think the big one is I'm still a seeker. I still read the books. I still look for answers. I still look for better ways to get things accomplished. I still look for better stories to communicate things that will help inspire people. So I'm still reading, I'm still writing, I'm still thinking, I'm still meditating, I'm still exploring, I'm still investigating. And one of my most recent greatest teachers is Yogananda. And Yogananda wrote the book that's behind me up there, Autobiography
Yogi.
of a Yogi. And in fact, he's so influenced me that over there on the side is
Yeah,
a
yeah.
bust of Yogananda. And I have a book here by him, some other quotes by him. And he serves as a reminder. And the reminder is to express the divinity within me. And this is important because another one of the books on the other side is mine. That's the most recent book, Zero Limits Living. And so my movie, Zero Limits, the original book, Zero Limits, the most recent book, Zero Limits Living, is all about expressing the divinity within you. Yogananda, to paraphrase him, had once said, prove the God force within you by doing something impossible. And I've loved that because we can all look at our lives and the definition of impossible will be different for each person. Me going into MMA at age 71, for a lot of people, that's impossible. For me, it's certainly a challenge, but I'm expressing the divinity within me by doing something that might be considered impossible. So I'm getting that from Yogananda, and I still study him and lots of other teachers, whether it's Napoleon Hill, who's the bust on the other side there,
Yeah,
or somebody else that I'm not even thinking of right now.
it's very powerful. And you know, when I was entering entrepreneurial journey back in 2017, this was the first time ever I started working for myself. I had couple of money beliefs, fake beliefs, limiting beliefs, which I needed to let go. And when I let them go, I understood that world work completely different. I want to ask you, what is your limiting belief you had about money and about wealth and abundance that you let go, that crack for you the world which you're living today?
We could probably have a whole separate conversation on money and beliefs about money
I
because
would
I've
like
written
to.
several books about it. I wrote Attract Money Now, which is free. People can go to attractmoneynow.com. You can have the book for free. Attract Money Now. I wrote Money Beyond Belief. I wrote The Awakened Millionaire. There were several, I can't even remember all the books I've written about money. I will tell you the big one that I had, and the big one virtually everybody has, and probably everybody watching or listening, even right now, still has. And we want to blow the whistle on it right now. I want to help everybody be free of this limiting belief that's in their subconscious mind so that they can allow money to come in. And the limiting belief is money is the root of all. Everybody just said evil. And they said evil because that belief is in their head. Money
Absolutely.
is the root of all evil. So let's dismantle it. The very first thing is that's a snippet of a longer phrase. The longer phrase from biblical literature is the love of money is the root of all evil.
Mm,
Now, what we want to look at is do we actually love money? What I found out is we don't actually love money. In fact, most people have a love hate relationship with money. They don't really want it. They don't want to work for it, but they actually need it to pay their bills, pay the rent, pay the groceries, pay the car, pay the internet, whatever. They need it, but they don't really want it because they think it's bad. They think it's evil. But the love of money is the root of all evil is the actual biblical phrase. And of course, it's been translated. We don't even know what was originally said thousands of years ago, maybe a completely different intent. But what I've learned is that money is just neutral. It is a way to make your dreams come true. Money is good. Money is a way to keep score. Money is a way to practice spirituality. Money is the tool and the means of exchange that virtually everybody on the planet uses in one way or another. They have their own kinds of money, but they're using money in one shape or another because it's a way of getting things done. So when you realize money is neutral and you can actually use it as a force for good, you can actually create your dreams coming true with money. And I also go on to say, look, if you care about your family, friends, causes in your neighborhood, world problems, then make peace with money. Allow money to come into you and then be a steward for money. Be a director for money, an orchestrator for money, and aim it where you want it to go. You get to do that when you make peace with money. I'm going to say one more thing about this because I want to help as many people as I can with their relationship to money. My all-time favorite quote about money is from Arnold Patent. And Arnold Patent said, "The sole purpose of money is to express appreciation."
Well,
the sole purpose of money is to express appreciation. Every time you write a bill, it's a thank you. Every time that you're paying for something, it's thank you. The sole purpose of money is to express appreciation. That thought alone will transform your relationship to money and allow it to come to you.
Love it. Dr. Joe, thank you so much. I have only the last question. This season of NGrS Show, it's called Inside Out. It's absolutely perfectly aligned with you. My question for every single guest before you and today for you will be, what is for you inside out that once imitated in the out world leads towards success, towards abundance, towards life we all desire or want to achieve? What is something what must be inside of us?
Well, what must be inside of us is already there. What we must do is align with it. And what I mean is the divinity is already inside of you. When you go under your thoughts and under your beliefs and under your emotions and inside your physical body, there is the standing witness, this observer. That's divinity. The more you align yourself with divinity, the more the outer will reflect peace and prosperity and even heaven on earth. But you don't have to put anything there. You have to remove what's in the way of seeing what's there.
Love it. Thank you so much. Thank you for all your wisdom and thank you for your time.
You are amazing. You ask great questions. I love how respectful you are, and I love what you're doing. You're making a difference in the world. Godspeed to you and everybody that follows you.
If you made it until here, till the end of conversation with Dr. Joe Vitale, you felt it. This wasn't about manifestation, it was about liberation. Because Joe's story, it's not just rags to rich, it's trauma to truth. It's the journey from homeless and hopeless until somebody who he is today. It's a story you finally realize that the only enemy on your path to success is you. It's the story you keep telling yourself. So if you like today's episode and something cracking, you ask yourself, what part of me have I been blaming instead of blessing? If this question stings in, lean with it. And if this episode hit a nerve, press the subscribe button. Not because of me or because I need another subscriber on my list, but because of you who need support on that journey of you becoming limitless. And if Joe's journey was inspiring to you, send this episode to someone, to your friend or cousin, somebody who is still sitting on the fence, trying to reach the next level of the life. This was NGrS Show, more than a podcast, the permission slip. My name is NGrS, and I will see you in the next one.